You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Oh, you didn't know? Yes, it is.
To the Hot Tag. Brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and we're joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer.
No life.
We are here answering your questions, and you know what we gotta say? Happy Professional Wrestling Day here in the state of Rhode Island, happening on June 13th. Happy Father's Day as well too for all the dads out there, and happy RI Anime Con happening the 15-16, where you're going to check out the Official Wrestling Museum, walking around with our camera crew and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And we got that QR code going on still.
QR code is a popular thing.
Yeah, we can make that Professional Day that we're celebrating on June 13th into a National Day, baby.
Maybe have a cookout that day. Have a cookout that day if you're like me.
Yeah.
If you're like me.
Have some doggies.
Well, when football season rolls around, I love to I have an extra TV monitor at home. Take a fire stick, go on the back porch when it's still nice and cool. Smoke some meats, cook on the grill,
got a nice
have some beverages. Throw on a football game. Maybe this time instead go on the back porch, put the TV on, put on WrestleMania 1. You know
what? And I can guarantee that on Professional Wrestling Day on June 13th, and especially when we get it to be a National Pro Wrestling Day because of your help, that man on his shirt won't be grumpy anymore. Okay? So we're doing something new. We're trying something different on this show. Instead of having the bucket out this week that we pull out, we want to make sure we keep it interesting for you guys and a little something different. So the museum came to us. They were talking to us like, what can we do to kind of make it a little different? And,
Well, they said that there's so many emails.
Yeah.
And we've had it requested. A couple people have requested, hey, a couple of my questions haven't been read. So we decided to go through the emails, pick out people's questions, and not, some of the questions, some people in the museum had written. This one is specifically 100% questions that were sent in by fans.
Yep.
Some are hits, some are misses,
the
but they're
thing
from
is, too,
you.
we're getting a lot more questions from fans.
Very
that
varied
Now we're really trying to keep up on our social media and emails, and it's really, you guys are what's powering the show. We do thank you for that.
So I guess the first, one of the ones, we did kind of pick and choose a couple. I mean, they'll all get read at some point.
Yeah.
But the first one, Chris from Pawtucket wrote, who taught Bret Hart the sharpshooter? Now, do you know?
So
I know, but I'll let you guess.
No, so I remember this story. I don't remember who it was. I remember hearing about it, and I was like, okay, oh, interesting.
So WWF had a fictional version where he said his dad taught him. He was trying to,
Right.
he learned it in the dungeon. And that wasn't true. The person that taught him, do you want to take a guess? Because I don't think you'll get it. I gave you 3 guesses.
Oh man, that's tough. From that time period?
Okay, think of Bret Hart and think of someone totally not like Bret Hart.
Well, we could go with Shawn Michaels on that one. Earthquake.
No, but when I do say the name, you're going to be like, really? And then you might even be like, okay. But
Hulk
no,
Hogan.
No Hogan. But I don't even want to say whether he was considered the Hulk Hogan of where he was from. Or not where he was from, but where he was from.
Jerry the King?
No. Conan. So Hulk Hogan, Conan had been considered the Hulk Hogan of Mexico, even though he's not
Yep.
Mexican. But yeah, Bret Hart, they said that Conan taught him the sharpshooter. So, and I can't remember time frame wise who started doing it first, Sting or Bret Hart. I do think Sting was doing it first. I just can't remember. I don't want to throw one name out there. But I know since Bret Hart, a lot of people have done it, and a lot of people have done it poorly.
Yeah,
There's a meme out there.
And you know what?
There's a meme out there where Bret Hart's looking at Natalia doing the sharpshooter. In fact, I just saw it last night, and he's like, and it says the face Bret Hart makes when the sharpshooter's applied incorrectly.
Yeah, and you know what? The move itself really isn't that hard to apply.
No,
It-
Stryker
so-
does a good one.
Yeah.
So I think we've gotten into it in one of the another hot tag or something, because I remember saying, "Oh, Stryker does it. Cesaro does a good one. The Rock
Yep.
does not.
No.
Shawn Michaels started doing it here and there, and it's funny because, like, again, I'm a big 2K.
Yeah, but
player.
Shawn doesn't have to do it good.
No,
You
it's
know what
just
I mean?
to-
It's
to
a
make
mockery
fun of
for
the-
his feud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2K will, when they release 2K games and they have signature moves on people, they always would put, for a while, they were always putting the sharpshooter as one of Shawn Michaels' signature moves. They did it for The Rock, but The Rock has his own version of the sharpshooter. So that it's like that poor version he does.
Yep.
They've turned it into a move in the game. So anyway, that was another one. Do you want me to go with another one?
Yeah, go with another one.
All right. Let's see. Tony from Cranston wrote, "Can you name 2 wrestlers with the same nickname?" And
Okay. The Icon Sting, Angel the Icon. Here we go, folks.
how about there you go. All right. Any others? Any on the main level? Well, Low Life, and then there's Low Life Louis Ramos.
Yeah.
So, I have one or two in mind that I can think of.
Who?
The Rock, Don Morocco, and The Rock.
Okay.
I mean, I guess that would count.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, this is a good one. This is one that makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
These will be the ones that will come to us later on and be like, oh, I could have said that.
Yeah. I mean, I named one, so that's good enough for me.
Yeah, and I named myself, so that
Right.
works.
Yeah.
I went to business for myself, folks.
This is interesting because this week we have, or coming up, we have the, I'm sorry, I didn't say this week. During the meeting this week, we decided next week was going to be the 4 corners of celebrity involvement.
Yes.
And this one actually is from Billy from, what part of Rhode Island is that? I can't read that handwriting.
Woonsocket, it looks
Okay.
like?
Oh, Woonsocket.
Yeah, Woonsocket.
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 Howard Finkel used to say, Woonsocket.
Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
So, who was your favorite celebrity involvement? And I'm guessing ever. So,
Oh, that's...
to narrow it down to your favorite ever, I mean, I don't want to take away from our show next week when we decide those,
Right.
but I don't think it will because maybe I'm not going to name my favorite next week. So,
That's true, too.
you know what? I got to think Mr. T was probably my favorite ever.
You pity the fools.
I mean, just fun at that time. Big on the A-Team. I was a big A-Team guy. We talked about Mr. T this week on the Figures Are Inc. Figures Are Us show. Sorry about that.
That's all good.
I pity the fool. Not his WCW run. That was horrible. But WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 2, right around that time was Rocky 3, and I loved him as Clubber Lang. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm going to say Mr. T.
All right.
Honorable mention to Cyndi Lauper. I think she also really
Did
made
a good job there.
Yeah.
It's hard to say favorite, but
Right.
if I had to pick somebody today, and I wouldn't regret
Well, it doesn't have to be today.
saying, you know
Favorite
what I
ever.
mean?
Favorite ever.
Well, no, I mean like
It says-
if I had to pick an answer today, it's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah, right.
I wouldn't regret if I thought of somebody else, but I'm gonna say Pete Rose.
Pete Rose was great.
You know
you
what
know
I
what?
mean?
Pete Rose might have been, I don't know if it was the best ever. It might have been the most fun because,
Right.
again, where I said Mr. T came back
Yep.
for WrestleMania 1, built up his angle for WrestleMania 2, that Pete Rose angle was 3
It-
years.
yeah, it kept going.
I mean, I was at WrestleMania 14
Yeah.
when he was like throwing the insults out there, and you know, I gave my friend Bucky Dent or Pete, what's his name, Bill Buckner tickets, but he couldn't bend over to pick him up. Bucky Dent says hello. That's the guy that hit the home run
Yeah.
to crush the Red Sox, and then when he was like, you know, the crowd is just going nuts, and here Kane, who was at the time being built up as one of the top heels of the company, going against Taker, and this is their first match. And he's like, and now introducing. The only thing was the botch on the timing, because there was like a brief 3 seconds when he was like, and now introducing, and the lights didn't go off right away.
Yeah.
And then he came out, and you see Pete Rose looking at him going, and he's mouthing like, what, me? Me? You want me? And he just chunks, tombstones him. Fantastic. And then you think that's it.
You
And
think,
then the
yep.
next year, wasn't it, he came out as the chicken? Was that it?
Yeah, I think he came out. I think it was next year or the year after.
He came out as like the San Francisco chicken or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was the next year, and then but he came out a third time too,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So Pete Rose is a good pick. I'm not gonna knock that pick. That was a great one.
Yeah, it definitely was.
All right,
What else do we have going on here, folks?
Kristen from, I can't. My eyes are bad with these.
Which
Cranston,
one?
sorry.
Cranston, okay.
Kristen from Cranston, who played the Gobbledygooker?
So,
You know?
I do.
Okay, I do too. But
Okay. You want to go? Or me?
what's the Gobbledygooker? Yeah, it was. You
It's
can
a
say.
Gobbledygooker. Hector Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it was a Guerrero.
Yeah,
and,
it really was.
yeah.
But you know what? The flips he did in the ring and the things he did. Oh yeah, it makes sense now. But it was kind of interesting that it was him and stuff. And there's there's been many since then.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I
the
mean?
original
But the original
Gobbledygooker
was him.
from SummerSlam
and
90.
There is
Survivor
nothing
Series
better
90.
than the original costume.
Yeah.
I've hated all the other versions of it.
Yeah, because I feel like some of the newer versions, the eyes are huge and they look like
Yeah.
gigantic wiffle balls
Well,
or golf balls.
It was probably just rented for that one show,
Right.
and they didn't buy it, and now they're trying to figure out
I just
the
you
same
know
thing
what,
they did with
man?
the bunny
The
costumes.
Gobbledygooker, like I've heard, you know, he was in the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 17, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people will put him as like one of the worst gimmicks ever. I can't because it was like supposed to be a one-time thing.
Yeah.
They brought him out for a couple shows doing the dances and stuff. But I remember like seeing him that night. Even me, I'm 10 years old and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, what is this going to do? I remember kids in the crowd were like, no one enjoyed it. The only one that
Yeah.
enjoyed it was Roddy Piper, who was doing the commentary, and that's because he had to.
Right.
Mean Gene was probably like, oh my God, I got to put this over.
It was definitely a weird
I'll just say,
thing.
I'm glad Hector Guerrero got a payday out of it.
Yeah.
But other than that, that thing could burn and be done. You know, I never would want to see it again.
Never wanna
It
see
doesn't hold any nostalgia for me. In fact, like they released a figure of it, which I do think that's pretty cool, that they would go ahead and release the figure of it.
Yep.
And I know Ringside Collectibles also, they are selling, like on always
The
on when they
egg.
have their sales,
Yep.
the egg. And my son was like, but my son says he wants everything. But I did look into it, and I was like, okay, I'll buy the egg because it was like $4.99.
Yep.
And you could, I just, they said that at Survivor Series 90, like the Undertaker was going to come out of that. It's like, that would have killed him. You
Yeah,
know?
but no way he could have came out of
No.
that.
That's-
Imagine.
You know
the
who would
egg-
have been good coming out of that? The Red Rooster. That, you know what I mean? Like, that's about it. Like,
Yeah, but
other
even
than
the
that,
Red Rooster. Well, yeah, that might have.
I wonder if that would have helped the Red Rooster.
It might have.
Do you
helped him.
think if the Red Rooster had popped out of that egg, and that was his character now that he was going to play, do you think that would have helped him, or do you think that no matter what, that was going to die immediately, or do you think that gimmick might have at least gave him a little bit of something? I think it wouldn't have helped because the build-up for that was like a month or two.
So the problem though is we're looking at this years and years and years later. You know what I mean? And you're now comparing to what's happened over the years
Right.
of how characters are. That time period, I would have said, if we're talking about now knowing all the knowledge, I would have said yes. I think it would have helped them. I still see it dying out.
I think it would have been better for his
But I think
presentation, but
exactly. But just walking out when he's just going out like this, it's like, because you have red hair. Is that why? I never understood the comedy. I never understood the reasoning for it. I'm like, did this guy do something wrong? You know
It
what I
had
mean?
been
To
said
have
that
that
he
type
was-
of character.
it said-
That's what I was thinking when I was a
It had
kid.
been said that he was a stooge, and it was a punishment gimmick too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but
Right.
whatever.
I
We
think
spent
it
too- we
would
spent
at
way
least
too much time
At
on
least
the-
it would have done something. Yeah, we did.
We spent more time on the gobbledygooker than I think he was in the ring.
Right? I think so too.
All right.
All right. What does Dan say from Narragansett?
Oh well, now I got to find that question.
Oh,
I know you. I know you want that one because that was a current one. He has certain questions. He likes. All right, I found his. What do you think of advertisements on the ring? He was talking all about that because
Yeah.
I don't know. So for me, it's not really a big deal. I mean, I'm more aggravated with all the advertisements around the ring. The whole match is built on Slim Jim. But the Macho Man did that back in the day. Remember? I mean, Slim Jim, Halloween Havoc.
Right.
It was
and
all
that was cool.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so did the Prime logo on the ring bother you at all at WrestleMania? Because I can tell you, for me, I didn't think anything of it. Now, when I see the Prime hydration station every week on Raw, the only thing that bothers me is
nobody goes
no
over
one ever
there.
takes a sip.
Yeah, nobody ever goes over
I know
there.
I would.
Yeah,
Prime's
not
pretty
one
good.
person has gone over there to take a sip of that.
Only
It's
I think
been knocked
Dominic went over there and slapped a couple bottles around.
Yeah.
Or I think someone picked up the big one and threw it. But not one person has been like after the match, like. So that's the only thing that bothers me. The Prime logo being on the ring didn't bother me because it wasn't big, it wasn't obnoxious. WWF has tended to never really do that. I know they did WrestleMania 12. They had the WrestleMania logo.
Yeah.
And that was the first time they really did it. They've never really done it on the apron. I think they've done Snickers here or there.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. They tend to now, and I like the idea of being able to do it on the LED boards, but when the guy's being thrown out of the ring and all you can see is, like every match Rey Mysterio was involved in was some sort of advertised match.
Yeah.
Or like LA Knight is now the Slim Jim guy. It doesn't bother me to the point, I really don't care, but like, think about like UFC. Their mats are plastered with logos.
Well, I think
and
that's-
do people really complain about it though?
Because I think it's normal now for them. You know what I mean? Wrestling's been around for so
Right.
long, doing it one certain way, and now it's like, okay, we're going to shove our money making
Yeah.
down your throat.
I mean-
I think when they had the advertisement on the outside of the ring, on the mats, looked ridiculous. It really did. The LED boards, it's all right, it's passable, but it's like this match is brought to you by this. Now a match after this match is brought to you by this.
Yeah.
2 matches later. It's like,
That's the part that I'm saying bothers me more. I have
so
to
like
spend
you
more
have
time.
Snickers
Yeah.
sponsoring the show, but then you have people
Well,
sponsoring matches. So what's
C4 was
Snickers?
sponsoring WrestleMania, but Prime was the logo.
Exactly, and C4 is the official drink of WWE.
But to your point, they might, and then this year at WrestleMania was pretty bad with that, where pretty much every match had a different sponsor.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got to sit here now and watch commercials and not the. So WrestleMania has really changed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
almost to the point where I feel like, yeah, it's still the biggest show, but it's now much more mainstream, much more of a moneymaker in the sense of advertisement. Like Snoop Dogg came out and commentated for one of the matches. Why? Because his gin and juice or whatever it was a sponsor. And it's like, I'm not the type that stuff does aggravate me because I just want to watch the wrestling show.
Exactly.
I'm fine with entertainment. I'm fine with them advertising and making money. The advertisements don't bother me. The only thing I worry about sometimes maybe is sometimes if they put the logo too big.
Yep,
I don't
yep.
want guys to slip on them maybe.
Yeah.
But the advertisements don't bother me. So I'm fine with that. All right, let me pick one now. I know I had found one that I liked.
Yeah, you liked.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was from Tim from Providence.
Okay.
Did you feel Corporal Kirshner was a direct Sergeant Slaughter ripoff? Now, when I was younger, I was probably been about 4 or 5. That's when Slaughter left and Corporal Kirshner came in. Obviously, they don't have Slaughter anymore. Well, let's get Corporal Kirshner. But yes, I think it kind of is similar to Demolition being ripoffs of the Road Warriors. Like, obviously, it's heavily influenced in the takeoff of that. But Corporal Kirshner was different than Slaughter. He was different. He was like a Green Beret, I believe. He wore the beret. He didn't wear the Sarge hat. He wasn't a drill sergeant. He was almost, to me, if I remember, I don't know if they built him this way, but he was like a Vietnam vet. You know, he reminded me a lot of Rambo.
Yep.
And I thought he was cooler, a younger, cooler version of Sergeant Slaughter. So for me, I'm not going to say he was a direct ripoff. I mean, yes, he was a ripoff, but I feel like, could they have had a Sergeant Slaughter and a Corporal Kirshner in the same company? I feel that you could have. And they didn't have to be a team. I would have liked to, now in my older years, maybe they team up here or there, but they're acquaintances, but they're not a team, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good question for Sergeant Stryker if he was here.
Yeah.
Because he can probably weigh in more being somebody that's actually serving our country and understanding the different levels and stuff. For us, I would agree with you that I would think you could probably have a couple of different types of soldier gimmicks, and it really wouldn't look bad, because if you think soldier, you're thinking an army full of soldiers,
Yeah.
and it becomes kind of like second nature.
And the
it's
talent
not like,
could
you
be
know
good
what I
enough.
mean?
The talent could be good enough that it can get that over, even if it's a similar gimmick, you know?
Yeah. So
yeah,
I know we have one, and the person said he watches our shows on YouTube, which make sure you guys check out our YouTube page. We have tons of past episodes on it. We update them, very frequently. So why don't we get to his question? This is Duke from Houston, Texas, and he said, "Do you think you could write better than the writers in WWE?" So here's the fast answer. Yes. Here's the correct answer. Of course not. And why is that? Yes, because you have your own opinions. You're seeing, okay, this is what they just put on TV now, and this is what I loved about, and I will keep this going. This is what I would change about. I will not do this no more. And that's it, right? But you don't know what their plans are for the weeks to come. All you can do is just sit here and guess. Right. And it's very easy for me to sit here with, say, somebody like you and say, "Hey, did you just see this? Just imagine if this person started, doing this, or if they ran this storyline with these two people."
Sorry.
Right?
Yep.
It's easy for me and you to talk like that because we're just shooting, what they call, the talk, right?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
So
I think in your mind,
it's kind of,
yeah.
And especially in today's field, and I didn't mean to cut you off. In today's field, that the internet is so out there, I think so many people feel they can write a show so much better.
Well,
the thing is, the show's going to be written because guess what? They have the same exact opinions as you do, sitting there typing on the keyboard, or us answering now, because they're a human being just trying to bring whatever vision they see alive.
Well,
is it right or not?
How many people are Monday morning quarterbacks,
Exactly.
Right. I think that's a good answer. I mean, obviously in your mind, you're going to be like, oh, I could have come up with a better idea. But then again, there's a team of people for each show.
Yeah.
And they all go over stuff. Not everyone's idea is going to be heard. Like maybe someone has a really great idea, but they went with this idea for certain reasons.
Right.
And maybe this person's idea was better, but maybe they don't want it to be so good because they want to only go this level with this certain thing. I mean, there's so many different aspects
and
involved
if you're pushing something like you were saying, oh, this could be really good, but okay, we have to go this way, so it's not that good, because if you make this too good, now maybe something that's really good, now you're bringing the attention away from.
Yeah.
It could be sponsorships. It could be a whole bunch of different things that puts you into it. So it's not a cut and dry thing.
I want to take a little different road on the answer here. And, where you said, could you write better than the writers? Not even talking about like WWE or right now.
Yeah.
Let's go to WCW years back. They had they had standards and practices, but even before that, because they weren't, who owned them was not a wrestling company, they would have, the answer would be like, okay, you have so-and-so making $600,000 a year, and now you have this guy, and he's only making, he's making $100,000 a year. Why is this guy beating this guy? Or why is he even in a program with him? So now you might have this great storyline. Now you're being told, no, this guy's making 6 times more than him. And they don't understand that it doesn't, that's not, and so now you might have this great storyline, and you're being told, no, you cannot do that because you have this guy wrestling this guy, and there's no way this guy should go over on this guy when he's making 6 times less.
Right.
So whatever storyline you had, throw it away, because you have to make a storyline where if these two are going to cross paths, this guy has to crush this guy.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's so much different.
There's a lot.
And
that
there
plays
are
into
going to be
it.
people out there that can write better than writers that are never going to be known. But that's just like, okay, there's a guy out there right now who's the greatest football player of all time that's never played, because he's never played. You know?
Exactly. And
Tom Brady.
You used to hear, Raw would get rewritten 4 or 5 times
Because
Well,
it
why
had
you
to be
didn't-
under one guy's
Yep.
vision.
And it's
That
tough.
was a really good question. I'm sure we could spend so much more
Oh,
time
you
on
definitely
that.
could. You know what I mean? But I think we have enough time to maybe get to 1 to 2,
right,
depending
let me
on
look at
what the
real quick.
question is and stuff.
Let me look
And
at-
again, this is a new way we were trying it for this
Yeah,
week
I
and
kind of
stuff.
like the old way better.
I do too.
think-
I like the picking up.
Maybe, you know
this
what-
like we have.
Yeah.
We can see it, and it's like.
Okay.
We kind of like that aspect of
Maybe
surprise.
what we
totally.
could do, we're still tweaking out shows. Maybe
Yeah.
what we could do is from now on, because we didn't do it before, we could write their name on the paper
Yeah.
as we do it.
I think before
It's
too-
still the same
yeah,
way,
I think
but as
before-
opposed to us picking the names out.
Right.
you know?
I think before it was something where they didn't want to read off the last names
Yeah.
for liability's sake.
Right,
And I
okay.
think, if what happens now if we pull, say, 7 names and
Right.
there's like 4 Chris's.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean?
But
Then
I
it's
think
like,
it don't matter because they'll know.
that's true. The people that's out there and
Yeah,
that wrote
they'll
it,
pop
they'll
when they
know,
hear
and
their
that's what's
question.
important.
Right.
Yep.
All right, so anyway, I'll go to this one.
Okay.
And it's from Mike from Pawtucket.
Pawtucket.
Yeah. And I'm not from
you.
Rhode Island, so I gotta get used to all these weird names. I've only wrestled in Rhode Island. Did you believe that
We'll
the
see your life.
Underfaker was the Undertaker? And what he means by that, which I'm sure is when they had the fake Undertaker
Yep.
come back and wrestle Undertaker at SummerSlam '92.
It was.
And I'll say when I was younger, probably at first, like the first 2 or 3 weeks, I probably believed it because, at that time you're figuring Undertaker's gone, but he's gone in storyline, but they brought him back and he's working these couple shows.
So
I never thought they'd end up having the 2. Once they had the 2, it's not,
Speaking about the 2.
it's not.
So to be honest, when I
He looked like him, though.
thank you. When I
No, you.
Yeah, I
him.
know.
Him.
He looks like me.
Brian Lee looked like Brian Lee, who was the Undertaker. I said he looked like him.
I know.
You don't look nothing like him. You're a short little guy
Look,
with not
I
red
have a
hair.
step stool. Leave me alone.
But did you?
I would say
yeah.
on TV, no. I didn't buy that it was the real Undertaker. I knew it was a fake. However, I did see him at a local event,
Yeah.
and they did the lights, they did everything, the feeling. I swear they even put the AC on. It gave me the vibe that the real Taker was there. And 2, he got in the ring and the lights came on him. Then I was like, no, it's not
I think
Taker.
the angle was good. I think that the finish of it and the match was not.
Right.
But the angle itself was pretty cool. $1 Million Man who could buy anything as a fake Undertaker.
Exactly. Just like that QR code, because we have Pro Wrestling Day has happened, June 13th. Please scan it, make it national. Thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. Sorry it took a little longer to get to these. We are trying to keep up with everything. And we appreciate you guys. Keep sending them in, because without you guys, we can't do a show here each and every weekend. This is one of our favorite shows of all our shows. We like to be that surprise and get caught off guard, and we thank you guys very much. And all right, Anime Con, we're going to be rolling cameras, so take our Smile Up Challenge with us. Spread more smiles than hate in the world. And you know what they say, you write the questions.
We got the answers.
See you next week.